Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm very excited to do an in-person side-by-side trim comparison of the all-new 2023 Chevy Colorado in the LT as well as the Z71 trims. So if you guys follow along on the channel, then you know I have done side-by-side trim comparisons back in the studio where I go over the features, options, and all of the specifications, but it definitely gives you a different perspective versus doing it here in person, especially in the same sterling gray color that I have behind me. And even though this is not going to be an equal comparison in terms of the features and options between these trucks, hopefully it gives you an overall idea of what the exterior, interior, and just some of the material differences are between these two trucks. And I will point out a couple hardware differences that do come standard on each of these two trucks. So with all that information in mind, let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Now before we begin, I do want to say I have a dedicated video on each of these two trucks here on the channel, so if you're curious about that, make sure to check it out. LT Convenience Package 1, Z71 Convenience Package 2, and as you can see, this one's about $34,000 as equipped MSRP. This one's just under $44,000 equipped MSRP, so there is about a $10,000 difference between these two, which may sway some people, but again, this is a two-wheel drive truck. This comes standard with four-wheel drive, turbo plus engine. This has the lower output version. So as a whole, not an equal in terms of features and specs, but in terms of exterior cosmetic differences, they definitely are equal in that regard. So once again, starting out, both these are the sterling gray metallic exterior, which I have featured on several different trucks here on the channel. And starting at the front end, you will notice a big difference in what the exterior, just cosmetic look of each of these two are. So the LT is gonna have some nice premium materials, definitely a step up versus that of the work truck and of course the Trail Boss, because those two are based on the lesser trims. So with an LT, you will get the paint match bumper that you see on both of them. However, you will get a slightly different gray metallic front grille. You have the lesser halogen reflector headlights, unless you go for the Convenience Pack 3. However, if you do get at least a Convenience Pack 1, that does come with the LED fog lights down below. And you will not get the front recovery hooks unless you do go with a four-wheel drive, which this truck is not. So that's as a whole what the LT front end looks like. And coming over here to the Z71, all Z71 trucks will pretty much look identical to this one with the LED projector headlights, both low and high beam, LED fog lights with the LED daytime running light and incandescent turn signal, gloss black trim that runs across the width of the front grille and the front bumper, black bow ties with your Z71 badge in the grille, with the red recovery hooks down below because this is a more off-road oriented spec. And you do get the nice gray metallic trim in this lower section where the license plate will mount. I know that doesn't contrast well against the sterling gray paint, but that is technically a different gray, where you can see over here on the LT that is an unpainted black plastic. So hopefully that just gives you a little bit of an idea as each of these two trucks. And you will be noticed Z71 that does sit up just a little bit higher due to the larger wheels and tires that do come standard. So let's go ahead and take a look at the side profiles and see how they differ there. Now coming to the wheels and tires, like I mentioned, this is going to be another key difference between the two trucks, as the LT will come with a slightly smaller diameter tire versus that of all Z71s. So starting with this truck, this is going to be the standard LT wheel, 17-inch metallic gunmetal style finish. They are wrapped in 255, 65, 17-inch Goodyear Territory HT, kind of an all-season tire. I believe this is an equivalent of just under a 31-inch tire, if I'm not mistaken. And then over here on the Z71, this is the standard all-terrain that comes standard, 18-inch wheel, machined dark gray finish, Goodyear Wrangler Territory AT all-terrain tire, and this is a 265, 65, 18, or the rough equivalent of a 32-inch tall tire. So there's going to be a big difference there in terms of the wheel and tire packages. And then again, if you do look closely, I know this is not the most even surfaces in terms of the pavement, but there is a height difference, especially here on the front corners of the trucks, that does make the Z71 stand up just a little bit taller. Now, in terms of the exterior differences, the gloss black mirror caps here on the Z71, you still do get the standard chrome trim unless you option the blackout package. And over here, this is the dark gray metallic that does match the front grille here on the side mirror caps with the same chrome there on the door panels. Proximity entry is standard on both trucks, so you do get the body color door panels with the proximity key entry on both, so no real difference there. And coming up back, the only real difference here on the Z71 trucks, again, depends on which convenience package you do get on both LT and Z71, is going to be the addition of a gloss black rear bumper instead of a body color rear bumper on the LTs. This one does have Convenience Pack 2, so you do get the easy lift lower with the Stowflex in it and the key cylinder lock here up by the handle. No bed liner in this particular truck, but this is the Stowflex. You do get a storage compartment inside, which make sure to check out some of my other videos if you're curious about what that looks like. But over here on the LT, Like I said, they're pretty much going to be identical out back. Oh, I guess one difference is the addition of the partial LED tail lights. That is standard on every Z71. That would only come with a Convenience Pack 3 LT because it doesn't come standard with the LED lighting. But there is the sterling gray paint match rear bumper, same integrated side steps, everything like that. This one does actually have the easy lift lower tailgate Convenience Package 1 as well, with the storage inside, no bed liner or anything like that. But that is really going to be the only two differences. As a whole, that's a look at the exterior. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior on each of these two trucks side by side and see how they differ there. So starting out on the interior of the LT, I want to start with this truck because technically this is the lesser of the two trim levels. However, this is certainly a step up versus the work truck and the Trail Boss. Starting out here on the door panel, mostly hard touch black plastics throughout between both of them. This is a soft touch portion right here in a smooth synthetic leatherette material with the lighter accent stitching. The only real difference in the trim is you don't get the silver accent here in this portion, nor do you get a soft touch right here. So this is just black plastic that's textured, but you still get power windows, mirrors, and locks between the two. So that is pretty much the same between them. But coming over here to the driver's seat, again, this will depend on which convenience package you do get, if you get a power seat. But this is a standard 6-way manual seat in the Convenience Pack 1 or lower with the black cloth material and the lighter accent stitching. So that's a look at the seats there. Now in terms of the technology, these are actually going to be very similar with just some minor software differences because you have the standard 8-inch digital cluster and the 11.3-inch HD color touchscreen with Google integration. This doesn't have the off-road pages in the LT, but outside of that, they are going to be very similar. I have a dedicated video going over this cluster as well as the infotainment in a video here on the channel. You have a leather-wrapped steering wheel with the black accent stitching, silver trim here with the gold bow tie here on the airbag. Cruise control as part of Convenience Pack 1, must have in my opinion, with the audio multimedia here on the left, or on the right, excuse me. Automatic high beam assist over here as well as your wipers, standard equipment on every Colorado. This one does not have the trailering package, so it doesn't have the advanced trailer brake controller over here. You have the synthetic soft touch here across the dashboard with the silver accent trim and the round AC vents. There's the infotainment. Not going to go over this too much. You don't get the off-road pages or the air down mode on this infotainment because it is an LT. But outside of that, really not too much different. Dual zone automatic climate in this truck. There's your engine stop start off, hazard, lane keeping assist, 2 USB ports, no wireless charger. That is available depending on the truck that you get. No soft touch materials here on the sides of the center console. That's another material difference across each of the two trucks. There's the cup holders. Same smooth leatherette material that's on the door panels here on the center console. Inside you still do have a 12-volt and the removable tray, so not a huge difference there, just the materials here on the outside. And up top you do have a black headliner. Here's your vanity illumination. And really, in terms of the materials on the headliner and roof area, not a big difference there. So really up front of the LT, it's going to be very limited in terms of some of the materials, mainly on the door panels, sides of the center console, and across the dashboard is going to be 2 different soft touches. But as a whole, not a huge difference. Out back, one of the things that is worth noting is that on the Z71, you do have a slightly different door panel once again, and then the seating surfaces are the same cloth as the front. And in terms of actual features in the back seat, you only get 1 USB-C charge port for rear seat occupants in addition to the AC vents and cup holders up top. No 120-volt outlet in the bottom unless you get a Convenience Pack 3 LT. That's a big difference. So only 1 USB port, no 120-volt outlet. But outside of that, pretty much the same in terms of the rear seat amenities. And I will go ahead and touch on the passenger side just so you guys get an idea, but really not too much to show over here as well that's any different than the driver's side. 4-way manual passenger seat. Power passenger seat is not available in any Colorado. You do have to go over to the Canyon lineup to get that. And there's just a little bit closer look at the smooth soft touch with the silver accent trim that wraps into the vent design. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at the Z71 over here, because there are going to be several differences in materials like I mentioned. So starting out with the Z71, this is going to be a red accented interior in addition to some of the black accents. So here on the door panel, like I mentioned, this portion is the textured soft touch that wraps into that around the window controls, but you also do get this silver boomerang-esque trim there. Other than that, pretty much the same with the chrome door handle pull, power windows, mirrors, and locks. This one does have the power driver's seat with two-way power lumbar, and this is the standard Z71 two-tone seats, not the leather option, so do keep that in mind. And when you do take a look at the seats, this is going to be the same textured surface that's on the armrest, door panels, and dashboard. So it is a little bit on the rougher side in my opinion, but this is more of a smooth cloth material that is patterned. And then up top, there is another different cloth material that is a little bit softer in my opinion. And I would like to see this maybe throughout more of the interior and some of the seating surfaces, because as a whole, I think that looks nice. But you do see the red accents here on the seat. That is a big differentiator as to what breaks the Z71 apart versus the other Colorado. We'll go ahead and start it up. And immediately you do see most of the same technology on the inside with the 8-inch digital cluster. Again, this does have the off-road pages available because this is a Trail Boss or Z71, and of course the ZR2 will have it as well. This carries over to the infotainment, which also has the off-road pages available, as well as the air down mode, which is very cool. That's a unique addition to the Z71 over the LT. Leather wrap steering wheel with red accent stitching this time. Same silver trim here. All the buttons and stuff are going to be the same as well. Wiper stalk, auto high beam assist, same stuff. There's a look at the integrated trailer brake controller if you do get the trailering package. This is both LT and Z71 as long as you do get that tow package. Here's the textured trim around the AC vents. They are a slightly different design, but overall really not too much different there. Already covered the infotainment. This one does have a few more options with the heated seats, the convenience pack 2, really not too much different. Roll all 4 windows down via that button, lane keeping assist. This does have the auxiliary switch. I've explained this before. I'm not exactly sure what this does without the auxiliary fuse box that you do have to get as an additional accessory that installs underneath the hood, and of course gives you different relays for powering lights or different accessories on the outside. I'm not sure that this is actually functional without that different accessory installed. There's your wireless charging pad, and this is the soft touch material that I mentioned that is not found on the LT that you do get standard on Z71. That's a look at what your 4-wheel drive looks like. Z71 does come standard with a 2-speed transfer case, so you do get 4 high and 4 low in addition to the normal 2 high and 4 high that only comes with the 1-speed over there on the LT. Here's your center armrest, the same outside of this texture on top. Same black colored headliner. This one just has the interior dimming mirror because it is a convenience pack 2. But as a whole, in terms of that, really just the seats, door panels, dash design, as well as these materials here on the center console are going to be different, along with a few software differences right there. I quickly do want to show you the back seat of the Z71 with those additional charge points. Here's a look at the door panel, same soft touch material here as the front. So that is the same door panel exactly, minus this difference as the LT. Here's a look at the rear seats. Headrests do fold down in both trucks, which is very nice for extra rear visibility. There's the AC vents, cup holders, 2 USB charge ports like I mentioned, so you do gain the USB-A in Z71. And standard is the 120 volt charge outlet that is also shared with the one in the bed for a combined output of 400 watts. So that's a very nice, especially getting additional charging in the back seat. But outside of that and the seats, they're pretty much identical. I'll show you quickly the bed in the Z71 just because you do gain that 120 volt outlet over there in the corner. Both of them do come with the StowFlex as an option depending on the convenience package. There's the 120 volt outlet that I mentioned. But outside of that, the bed is going to be identical. And wrapping it up here on the passenger front seat. Still a 4-way manual seat, no height adjustment. And that is pretty much it as far as that goes. Gloss black trim across the dashboard. And yeah, that is a look at the interior between these two trucks. Hopefully that helps you out in distinguishing what the exact appearance or material differences on the inside. Let's quickly discuss the engine options between both these trucks, then we'll go ahead and wrap up this video. So in terms of the engines and transmissions, as we know, all Colorados of this generation will come powered by a 2.7 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now these will vary depending on which one you get. Here with the LT, this particular one and the lesser trims, either a base LT or a convenience pack 1, which puts out 237 horsepower and 259 pound-feet of torque. This cannot be upgraded after the fact if you do get the base engine. Now, if you get a Convenience Pack 2 LT or higher, this automatically forces you into the Turbo Plus engine option with 310 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque, which is very nice for a significant bump up in power in my opinion. And that one can be upgraded into the 430 pound-feet of torque at a later date via a dealer installed tune if you would like. So that's just something to note, is that the base L2R engine does come standard on the LT, and you have to be careful if you do want to upgrade your engine later that you at least get the Turbo Plus in the LT as an additional option depending on the convenience package. Now over here on the Z71, that comes standard with the Turbo Plus engine no matter which Z71 convenience package you get. So this is the 310 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque Turbo Plus. Once again, it can be upgraded via a dealer installed tune or optioning it on the window sticker from the factory to that 430 pound-feet of torque. So that's as far as the differences go in terms of the engine options. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Colorado side-by-side comparison. I know it's not an equal in terms of features and equipment, but in terms of the overall look, aesthetics, the materials on the inside and outside, it's definitely an equal comparison, especially in the same exact exterior color. So that's why I like doing those side-by-side comparisons in the same colors, because you guys can see exactly what is different on both the outside as well as the inside. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video or have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Make sure to hit that like button. It definitely helps out the channel and these videos. Subscribe as always if you guys are not already subscribed, and make sure to check out other 2023 Colorado coverage I have here on the channel. Driven the Trail Boss off-road, done a ton of walk-around and comparison videos on the Colorados, and I'm very interested to see what they end up doing and changing for 2024. We should know that sometime here in the late summer, maybe early fall, depending on when they decide to go into production for 2024 model year, but I assume there will be a few changes, maybe not the most drastic changes considering this is an all-new model for 2023, but again, it'll be interesting to see what they do end up changing for 2024. And of course, we do know the 2024 ZR2 Bison Edition is coming with even larger tires, about 35-inch tires, I think even a slightly larger lift, and some nice off-road accessories, just like that of the regular ZR2. So once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Looking forward to future Colorado coverage. And as always, I appreciate the support. Hope to see you guys in the next one.